My beloved child, pause everything for a moment and listen with your spirit, not just your ears. What I am about to release is not random, not delayed, and not meant for everyone. There are only 2 minutes left, and Archangel Michael is stepping forward with urgency because a paper, a letter carrying shocking news about a major blessing, is already on its way to you. This message hath been sealed in the heavens, and the timing of it is precise. If you are hearing this now, it means the window is open, but it will not remain open for long. Hear this clearly. This is not a symbolic letter alone. This is not imagination. This is not coincidence. This is a real confirmation, a divine response to prayers you whispered when no one else was listening. Archangel Michael says this letter contains news that will shift your position, your provision, and your protection all at once. You were not supposed to know who sent it yet, and that is why the shock will hit you when you realize the source. The sender is connected to authority, favor, and a promise that was once delayed but never canceled. Chosen one, you have been under observation, not by people but by heaven. Archangel Michael hath been standing guard over a season where you felt unseen, undervalued, and uncertain. You questioned whether your obedience mattered. You wondered if your patience was being ignored. But now the angelic command has been released. Deliver the letter. What is arriving will answer questions you stopped asking because the waiting became heavy. Listen closely. The reason this message says open it immediately is because delay has been your enemy before. Archangel Michael warns that hesitation nearly cost you in the past. There were moments when fear made you wait too long. But this time, the blessing is time-sensitive. The letter carries instructions, not just information. Inside it is clarity. Clarity about money. Clarity about your next step. Clarity about why certain doors closed without explanation. Beloved, this letter is connected to your house, not just the place you live, but the atmosphere around your life. Archangel Michael says the blessing attached to this message will restore stability where instability tried to settle. Some of you have been praying for peace in your home, protection over your family, and security that does not vanish overnight. This letter carries alignment. It sets things in order. Do not dismiss the way this message found you. You did not click this by accident. Heaven does not interrupt randomly. There are only 2 minutes left because the spiritual window is narrowing, and your awareness is being tested. Archangel Michael is asking, will you recognize the moment when help arrives disguised as surprise? And I'll hear this part carefully, because this is where many misunderstand. The shock is not only the blessing, it is who sent it. You assumed they forgot you. You thought they moved on. You believed the opportunity had passed. But Archangel Michael reveals that the sender has been watching quietly, waiting for the right alignment. They could not release this earlier because you were still shedding an old version of yourself. This letter is proof that your growth hath been noticed. Heaven does not promote based on noise, it promotes based on endurance. And you endured. You stayed when leaving would have been easier. You trusted when evidence was missing. Now the reward is not just spiritual, it is tangible. Archangel Michael says when this letter arrives, your first reaction may be disbelief. You will reread it. You will check dates. You will question if it is meant for you. That is normal. Favor often feels unfamiliar to those who survived long seasons of resistance. But do not talk yourself out of what God has already signed. Beloved child, there is urgency in my voice because distraction is the enemy of delivery. The enemy does not need to stop the letter, only distract you long enough to miss its importance. That is why this warning is being released now. That is why your spirit feels alert. That is why your heart is beating a little faster as you listen. Archangel Michael stands with sword drawn, not to frighten you, but to defend what is coming. Opposition tried to interfere. Delays tried to weaken your expectation. But the decree has been finalized. The messenger has been dispatched. The letter is already in motion. And one more thing, this blessing is not small. It answers multiple prayers at once. It connects to finances, yes, but also to dignity, recognition, and relief. It restores what was quietly draining you. It brings closure to a chapter that overstayed its welcome. So I ask you now, chosen one, are you ready to receive without doubting? Are you prepared to open what heaven sends without fear? Because once this letter is opened, movement begins, and life will not remain the same. If your spirit feels stirred, it is because Archangel Michael is still speaking. My chosen one, breathe for a moment and let this sink deep into your spirit. What I am revealing now comes as a continuation, because once the letter is in motion, preparation becomes essential. Archangel Michael says many blessings are delayed not because heaven hesitates, but because the receiver is not positioned to recognize the weight of what is arriving. This is why your awareness is being sharpened right now. You are being aligned, not rushed. Strengthened, not pressured. Hear this clearly. The moment before a major blessing often feels strangely quiet, almost too still. That is the calm before confirmation. Archangel Michael reveals that over the past days, signs have already been whispering to you. Repeated thoughts, sudden memories, names resurfacing, unexpected emails, or documents you did not expect to revisit. These were not distractions. They were previews. Heaven was preparing your mind so your heart would not panic when the letter arrives. Beloved, this letter carries authority. That is why it required angelic protection. Not everyone celebrates when favor chooses you. Archangel Michael has been guarding your peace because envy cannot intercept what God seals. This is also why you felt a strange urge to clean, organize, or mentally close unfinished chapters. That urge was not random. It was preparation. The blessing arriving does not mix with cluttered emotions or unresolved fear. Now listen carefully. The shock will not only come from the sender, but from the timing. You thought this season was ending with silence. You assumed you were being taught to let go. But Archangel Michael says heaven was not teaching you to release hope, only control. This letter arrives at the exact moment you stopped chasing and started trusting. That alignment unlocked what effort never could. There is something else you must understand. When Archangel Michael speaks of a letter, it represents a formal shift. This is not a casual message. It is confirmation with structure. Some of you will see this as an offer, approval, contract, decision, or acknowledgement that changes your standing. Others will receive news that clears a burden you have carried quietly. Either way, once opened, the letter creates movement that cannot be undone. Beloved child, this is why you must guard your reaction. Archangel Michael warns against speaking doubt out loud. Your words shape how smoothly the blessing settles. Shock is natural. Gratitude is powerful. But fear slows manifestation. Do not ask why you. Ask how to steward it well. Heaven does not make mistakes in selection. There is also a personal element attached to this message. The sender knows more about you than you realize. They noticed your integrity when no reward followed. They remembered your consistency when others disappeared. Archangel Michael says your name has been spoken in rooms you never entered. Favor traveled where you could not go. That is why the letter feels sudden. The work was done out of your sight. Chosen one, I must say this gently but firmly. Not everyone needs to know immediately. Some blessings grow best in silence. Archangel Michael encourages discernment. Celebrate with God before you announce to people. Protect what is fresh. Let it root. There will be a time to share, but wisdom will tell you when. Now pause here for a moment. If this message is resonating, if your spirit feels alert and focused, this is a good moment to engage with this word. Like this message so it reaches those who are also waiting for confirmation. Share it with someone whose faith needs strengthening. Leave a comment declaring that you are ready to receive what heaven has prepared. And if you have not yet subscribed, align yourself with this channel so you do not miss what is released next. These simple actions help spread what Archangel Michael is revealing to those who need it most. Beloved, there is still more unfolding. This letter is not the end. It is the beginning of restoration in motion. Archangel Michael says what follows will explain why certain doors had to close abruptly. You will see now that rejection was protection. Delay was direction. Silence was strategy. And before you allow your mind to wander, stay with this moment. What comes next will connect the letter to a promise you thought was forgotten. Hold on, because the next revelation ties everything together in a way you did not expect. Beloved child of light, lean closer now, because what is being unveiled reaches deeper than information. This is revelation. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity because this stage determines how fully the blessing manifests. The letter that is arriving is not just an answer, it is evidence. Evidence that heaven recorded every tear, every sacrifice, every moment you chose faith when logic failed you. What you are stepping into now was written long before you felt ready. Archangel Michael reveals that the reason this blessing arrives through a letter is because it carries permanence. Spoken words can fade. Feelings can shift. But what is written stands as witness. This is heaven saying, let it be recorded. Some of you have battled inconsistency in outcomes. Promises came and went. But this time, the blessing is documented. He is anchored. He has weight. Listen carefully. This letter also closes a cycle. You have been living with an invisible question mark hanging over your future. Archangel Michael says once this message is opened, confusion will lose its grip. You will no longer guess where you stand. Clarity will replace anxiety. Direction will replace hesitation. That is why resistance tried to wear you down before this moment. The enemy hoped exhaustion would make you careless with what was coming. Beloved, this blessing is connected to restoration of honor. Something or someone once misjudged you. Your intentions were misunderstood. Your silence was taken as weakness. Archangel Michael says the letter corrects the narrative. It restores your name in a space where it was questioned. This is not about pride, it is about justice. Heaven balances what was skewed. There is also a financial threat woven into this message, but not in the way you expect. This blessing brings stability, not stress. Increase without chaos. Provision without compromise. Archangel Michael emphasizes that this supply will not pull you away from your values. It will support your purpose, not replace it. That is how you will know it is from God. Chosen one, be mindful of your inner voice when the letter arrives. Shock may say, this is too good to be true. Fear may say, what if it disappears? But faith says, God remembered me. Archangel Michael urges you to agree with faith quickly. Agreement accelerates fulfillment. Resistance delays joy. Now hear this part clearly. This blessing did not arrive sooner because timing mattered more than desire. Had it come earlier, it would have distracted you from growth you needed. You are being trained quietly, strengthened invisibly, prepared spiritually. The letter arrives now because you are mature enough to carry what it unlocks. Beloved child, there is a reason this message found you today and not tomorrow. Heaven is aligning responders, not spectators. Those who receive this word with humility will steward the blessing with wisdom. Those who receive it with fear will struggle to enjoy it. Archangel Michael invites you to choose trust. This is also a moment of partnership. What God releases, He multiplies through obedience. What arrives in your hands is meant to flow through your life, not stop with you. That is why this channel exists, to deliver messages that awaken, protect, and align God's people across the world. Now receive this activation with intention. Type "I receive the letter of favor" in the comments if this message is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 948 has just been released. If this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, understand this. You are not only a receiver, you are a carrier. When you sow into this mission, you help this word travel to souls who are still waiting for their confirmation. I hear the Lord say, as you release, I will open the windows and pour back, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is living seed placed into fertile ground. I am inviting you personally to stand with this work through super thanks, channel membership, or a PayPal gift found in the description. Do not delay obedience when heaven is moving quickly. What you release today becomes a harvest that speaks for you tomorrow. So now, and may Archangel Michael stand guard over every gift and multiply it back into your life with speed and favor. My beloved one, steady your heart as we move deeper, because now Archangel Michael reveals what happens after the letter is opened and the initial shock settles. Many think the blessing ends with the announcement, but heaven works in layers. The letter is only the key. What follows is the unlocking. This stage is quieter, more internal, yet just as powerful. It is where alignment replaces anticipation. Archangel Michael says the first thing you will notice is a shift in your inner atmosphere. The anxiety that once woke you in the middle of the night will begin to loosen its grip. Not because every problem disappears instantly, but because certainty arrives. You will know where you stand. You will sense that you are no longer guessing your future. Peace will begin to guard your thoughts in a way you have not felt for a long time. Beloved, this is important to understand. After the letter arrives, there will be a short period of adjustment. Favor often requires recalibration. Your mind hath been trained by survival, not overflow. Archangel Michael warns that you may feel undeserving at first. Old voices may resurface, reminding you of past mistakes. But those voices have no authority here. This blessing is not a reward for perfection. It is a response to surrender. There is also a relational shift tied to this moment. Some connections will grow strangely quiet. Others will suddenly become supportive. This is not love, it is sortive. Archangel Michael explains that when heaven elevates you, alignment follows. People who cannot celebrate your growth will naturally step back. Do not chase explanations. Let God handle transitions you did not initiate. Now listen carefully. The letter also activates responsibility. Not burden, but stewardship. What is entrusted to you next will require wisdom, consistency, and humility. Archangel Michael says the blessing will test your discernment more than your faith. You will need to choose timing over impulse and counsel over assumption. This is how you protect what God has given. Beloved child, there is a reason you were prepared through waiting. Waiting refined your character. It taught you restraint. It taught you to listen. Those lessons will now serve you well. The blessing will move faster than you expect, but you will move wisely because you were trained slowly. Another truth must be spoken gently. Not everyone will understand your next step. Some will question it. Others will doubt it. But Archangel Michael reminds you that obedience often looks strange before it looks successful. You do not need permission from people who were not present during your prayers. Heaven already approved this shift. You may also notice opportunities presenting themselves in unfamiliar forms. What once looked ordinary will now carry significance. A conversation, an invitation, a document, a meeting that seems small may carry weight. Archangel Michael urges you to stay attentive. Favor often travels quietly before it becomes visible. Beloved, the enemy's strategy after blessing is distraction. Not attack, but dilution. Too many options. Too many opinions. Too much noise. This is why guarding your focus matters now more than ever. The letter opened a door, but only discipline will keep it open. Choose depth over speed. Choose obedience over applause. There is something deeply personal tied to this stage. You will begin to see why certain prayers were unanswered. What once felt like denial will reveal itself as redirection. Archangel Michael says clarity will come like pieces clicking into place. You will not need to force understanding. It will arrive naturally. His blessing also carries healing. Not always dramatic, but steady. Old disappointments will lose their emotional charge. You will remember without pain. That is restoration. That is maturity. That is how you know God has completed a work inside you. Beloved child, remain grounded. Gratitude will keep you balanced. Humility will keep you protected. Faith will keep you moving forward. Archangel Michael stands near not because danger is coming, but because destiny is unfolding. You are being guided, step by step. As this stage continues, trust that what feels slow is actually stable. What feels quiet is being secured. Heaven is not in a hurry because nothing is missing. The letter has done its work. Now life is catching up to what God already decided. Stay attentive. Stay calm. Stay aligned. What unfolds next will reveal how deeply this blessing is connected to your calling. My precious one, draw nearer in your spirit, because now Archangel Michael reveals the unseen movements that begin after alignment takes place. What you are experiencing now may not look dramatic on the outside, but inwardly, foundations are being reinforced. Heaven is not only blessing you, it is securing you. This stage is about permanence, about making sure what arrives stays. Archangel Michael says that after the letter opens the door, heaven begins to rearrange structures around your life. Systems you relied on before will slowly fade, not because they failed, but because they are no longer sufficient. God is upgrading how provision, support, and opportunity flow to you. This can feel unfamiliar at first. Familiar struggle has a strange comfort, but unfamiliar stability can feel unsettling until you learn to rest in it. Beloved child, this is the season where patience shifts form. You are no longer waiting for something to happen. You are waiting for something to settle. There is a difference. Waiting before the blessing trains faith. Waiting after the blessing trains wisdom. Archangel Michael says this stage determines longevity. Many receive blessings quickly, but only the prepared sustain them. You may notice that your desires are changing. Things you once prayed for no longer excite you in the same way. This is not loss of passion. It is elevation of appetite. Your spirit is maturing. Archangel Michael explains that God adjusts your wants so they do not sabotage your future. You are being refined to want what lasts. There is also a new level of discernment awakening in you. Situations that once confused you will now feel clear almost instantly. You will sense when to speak and when to remain silent. This is not fear. This is authority. Archangel Michael says discernment is a shield that protects favor from misuse. You are being trusted with it because you have proven faithful in obscurity. Beloved, do not be surprised if your pace changes. You will move slower in some areas and faster in others. This is intentional. Heaven controls timing to protect outcomes. Where speed could cause error, God will slow you down. Where delay could cause loss, God will accelerate you. Learning to trust this rhythm is part of your growth. Another truth must be spoken gently. Some old dreams will not return in the same form. They will return transformed. What you once imagined small will come back with greater impact. What you once desired for yourself alone will now carry benefit for others. Archangel Michael says this is how you recognize divine upgrade. It expands reach without graining identity. Beloved child, there will be moments when you reflect on how close you came to giving up. Those thoughts are not meant to produce regret, but gratitude. You survived a season you did not understand. You remained faithful without applause. Now you are standing in evidence that endurance matters. There is also protection being reinforced around your mind. Negative cycles that once repeated automatically will begin to weaken. Thought patterns are shifting. Hope is becoming more natural than fear. Expectation is replacing dread. Archangel Michael says this is mental restoration, and it is just as important as external blessing. You may sense a growing responsibility toward purpose, a quiet nudge to use your voice, your experience, your testimony in new ways. This is not pressure. This is invitation. Heaven never forces calling. It reveals it. The blessing you received was not meant to isolate you, but to position you. Beloved, remain teachable in this season. Ask God questions. Seek wisdom. Do not assume you already know how this will unfold. Archangel Michael emphasizes humility as the companion of favor. Pride makes blessings fragile. Humility makes them resilient. There will be days when nothing seems to change outwardly. Do not misinterpret that as stagnation. Roots grow underground before branches rise. What is forming now will support expansion later. Trust the process you cannot see. And remember this above all: you are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where heaven intended you to be at this moment. The letter arrived on time. Alignment followed on time. Stabilization is happening on time. Stay present. Stay faithful. Stay receptive. What unfolds next will reveal how God uses this blessing to open doors you never knocked on. Beloved child, settle your spirit as Archangel Michael speaks again, because now we enter a phase many misunderstand. This is the phase where momentum meets mastery. After stabilization, heaven does not rush you forward blindly. It teaches you how to move with precision. What you are stepping into now is not about speed, but about strength. Not about excitement, but about establishment. Archangel Michael reveals that at this point, your blessing begins to interact with the real world. Decisions must be made. Boundaries must be set. Patterns must be adjusted. This is where wisdom becomes more valuable than enthusiasm. Some people lose ground here because they confuse opportunity with obligation. But heaven is training you to choose what aligns, not just what looks good. Beloved, you may notice that your tolerance for confusion has decreased. You no longer want half answers, vague commitments, or unstable arrangements. This is not impatience. This is discernment maturing. Archangel Michael says clarity is now a requirement. not a preference. God is teaching you to honor your time, your energy, and your calling. There is also a deeper spiritual awareness growing within you. You are sensing when something is off before it becomes obvious. You are recognizing when peace leaves a situation. This sensitivity is not weakness, it is guidance. Archangel Michael explains that angels often lead through restraint rather than force. When something feels heavy without reason, it is often protection. Beloved child, do not ignore your rest in this season. Rest is part of obedience now. Overworking will not accelerate what God has already timed. Archangel Michael warns that burnout can make blessings feel burdensome. Pace yourself. You are not proving anything anymore. Heaven already approved you. You may also feel a growing desire to simplify, to remove excess, to focus on what truly matters. This is alignment deepening. When God expands your influence, He often simplifies your focus. Fewer distractions, clear priorities, stronger outcomes. This is how longevity is built. And now hear this carefully. At this stage, comparison becomes dangerous. Looking sideways can distort vision. Archangel Michael urges you to stay in your lane. Your blessing is customized. Your timeline is intentional. Someone else's pace does not define your progress. What God is building in you requires specific conditions. Beloved, your voice is also being refined. You will speak less but with more impact. Words will carry weight. Silence will carry authority. This is not withdrawal, it is maturity. Archangel Michael says heaven trusts those who do not need constant validation. As this message continues, take a moment to stay connected. If this word is aligning your spirit, like this message so it reaches others who need direction. Share it with someone who is navigating transition. Leave a comment declaring that you are choosing wisdom over haste. And if you have not yet subscribed, this is the moment to do so, because what is being released next builds directly on what you are living now. Beloved child, there is something else unfolding quietly. Doors are responding to your posture before they respond to your request. People are noticing your consistency. Opportunities are aligning themselves without you forcing access. This is favor operating efficiently. Archangel Michael says, when heaven leads, striving is unnecessary. There may be moments when you feel stretched. Growth often feels like tension before it feels like expansion. Do not retreat when stretching begins. It means capacity is increasing. You are learning to carry more without losing yourself. Pay attention to your inner conversations. Replace self-questioning with gratitude. Replace fear-based planning with faith-based preparation. Archangel Michael reminds you that preparation honors blessing. Carelessness cheapens it. This stage also brings confirmation through repetition. You will hear the same message from different sources. You will encounter similar themes in unexpected places. This is not coincidence. Heaven is reinforcing direction. When God speaks repeatedly, it is an invitation to move confidently. Beloved, stay here with this message. What unfolds next will reveal how this blessing begins to influence others through you. Trust me, the next revelation connects everything in a way that will surprise you. Hold on, because this is where the purpose behind the blessing becomes unmistakable. Beloved child, receive this with a quiet heart, because Archangel Michael is now revealing the outward impact of what God has been building inwardly. Up to this point, much of the work had been internal, structural, and unseen. But now, the blessing begins to express itself beyond you. This is where others start to notice not just what you have, but who you have become. Archangel Michael says there is a shift in how people respond to you. Conversations will feel different. Your presence will carry calm where there was tension before, authority without aggression, confidence without noise. This is not something you learned. It is something that formed. Heaven shaped it through seasons you thought were empty but were actually full of refinement. Beloved, this stage may feel unfamiliar because influence arrives quietly. There may be no announcement, no applause, no clear moment when it begins. You will simply notice that your words land differently. People will seek your perspective. Decisions will pause until you speak. Archangel Michael explains that when God establishes someone, others sense it before they understand it. You may also become more selective with your time, not out of pride but out of stewardship. Your energy now produces fruit, and fruit requires care. Archangel Michael says this discernment protects you from being drained by things that no longer align with your calling. Saying no becomes an act of obedience. Beloved child, there is also healing happening in your past. Situations that once held emotional weight are losing their grip. You can recall them without reliving them. This is freedom. Archangel Michael says freedom is a sign that restoration is complete. When pain no longer controls your reactions, heaven has finished that chapter. This stage may also bring unexpected reconciliation, not always in relationship, but in understanding. You will finally see why certain things had to happen the way they did. Forgiveness will come naturally, not forced. Release will feel like relief, not loss. This clarity is a gift. Archangel Michael reveals that your obedience has created a ripple effect. People connected to you will begin to experience shifts as well. Doors opening, peace settling, direction becoming clear. This is not coincidence. Favor multiplies when it is stewarded well. You are becoming a conduit, not a container. Beloved, guard against shrinking back now. Sometimes when influence grows, insecurity tries to whisper that you are not ready. That voice is not truth. Archangel Michael reminds you that readiness is proven by faithfulness, not by perfection. You are here because you were faithful in small things. You may also notice that your prayers are changing. Less asking, more alignment. Less pleading, more listening. This is intimacy deepening. God is not just answering you. He is involving you. This is partnership. There will be moments when your old self tries to resurface, especially under pressure. Do not be discouraged. Growth does not erase memory overnight. It redefines response. When you choose differently than before, even once, heaven marks it as progress. Beloved child, remain anchored. Stay rooted in gratitude. Do not measure your journey by external validation. Measure it by inner peace. Archangel Michael says peace is the truest indicator of alignment. As this stage continues, watch for subtle confirmations. A sentence that resonates deeply. A door that opens without resistance. A burden that lifts unexpectedly. These are signs that heaven is moving with you. You are no longer chasing what God has already assigned. You are walking into it, step by step. The blessing is no longer just something you received. It is something you carry. Stay present in this moment. What is about to unfold next reveals how this blessing connects to a greater purpose beyond yourself. The next revelation will show you why timing mattered so much and why heaven waited until now to trust you with this level of influence. Beloved child, quiet your thoughts and lean into this moment, because Archangel Michael is now unveiling the deeper reason behind the blessing you receive. Up to now, you have seen personal shifts, internal stability, and outward influence begin to form. But this stage reveals something greater. This is where purpose rises above comfort. This is where heaven shows you that the blessing was never meant to stop with you. Archangel Michael says there is a calling attached to what you received, and it is awakening now because you are finally strong enough to carry it without losing yourself. Your earlier seasons could not sustain this weight. You needed to be healed before you could help heal. You needed to be aligned before you could help align others. The preparation is complete. Beloved, this is why your compassion has deepened. You notice people differently now. Their struggles register in your spirit. Your silence speaks louder to you. This is not emotional overload. This is spiritual sensitivity. Archangel Michael explains that God allows you to feel what others overlook so you can become a vessel of clarity, peace, and direction. There will be moments when you wonder why you care so deeply. Why injustice bothers you more than before. Why confusion in others unsettles you. This is the burden of purpose awakening. Not everyone carries it, but those who do are entrusted with influence that transforms atmospheres, not just outcomes. Beloved child, understand this clearly. The blessing that arrived through the letter was confirmation, but the calling attached to it is revelation. You are not meant to replicate someone else's path. Your assignment is unique. It flows from your experiences, your endurance, and your obedience. Archangel Michael says your story is part of the message. This stage also requires courage. Influence invites resistance. Not everyone will understand your conviction. Some will question your boundaries. Others will test your resolve. But Archangel Michael stands beside you, reminding you that divine authority does not need permission from human opinion. You may feel drawn to speak up where you once stayed silent, to step forward where you once waited. This is not impulsiveness, it is alignment. Heaven is nudging you to occupy space that was prepared for you long ago. Do not shrink back now. The grace that brought you here will sustain you forward. Beloved, guard your heart in this season. Influence can amplify both wisdom and weariness. Stay anchored in prayer. Stay rooted in truth. Stay connected to what keeps your spirit clear. Archangel Michael warns that distraction often disguises itself as opportunity. Choose depth over noise. Now receive this activation with intention. Type "I walk in divine purpose" in the comments if this message confirms what your spirit already knows. Blessing code 1635 is now activated. And now hear this carefully, because this moment is sacred. I hear the Lord say, those who have been strengthened by this word are called to strengthen others. What you are receiving right now is not just encouragement. It is fuel. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal seed found in the description, you are not funding content. You are releasing light. I am speaking to you personally now. Your giving becomes oil that keeps this message burning for souls who are still in darkness. Scripture declares that when seed is sown into good ground, heaven commands a harvest. This is a prophetic act, not a transaction. Move now, while the heavens are open. I speak blessing over every giver. May provision chase you, may peace guard you, and may Archangel Michael stand watch over everything connected to your hands. Obey the prompting and release your seed now. Beloved child, stay present. What unfolds next will show how this purpose begins to shape your legacy. Beloved child, let your spirit remain attentive, because Archangel Michael is now revealing how purpose matures into legacy. This stage is not loud, and it is not rushed. It unfolds with intention. What God has entrusted to you is beginning to take root in ways you may not fully recognize yet, but its impact is already forming beyond the present moment. Archangel Michael says legacy is not built by grand gestures alone. It is shaped by consistency, integrity, and obedience over time. You are learning to walk steadily, not sporadically. This is why heaven slowed certain things earlier. Legacy cannot be sustained by excitement alone. It must be supported by character. And character has been forged within you through endurance. Beloved, you may feel a growing sense of responsibility toward the future. Not fear, but awareness. You are thinking longer term now. Your decisions are less reactive and more intentional. Archangel Michael explains that when God entrusts someone with influence, he also expands their vision. You are beginning to see consequences, impact, and outcomes more clearly. There is also a quiet confidence settling into you. Not arrogance, but assurance. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself constantly. You trust the process unfolding in your life. This inner security is a sign of maturity. It allows you to remain steady when circumstances fluctuate. Beloved child, there will be moments when progress feels subtle. You may wonder if you are making a difference. But Archangel Michael reminds you that seeds grow silently before they break the surface. Impact often happens before visibility. What you are sowing now will be recognized later, sometimes by people you may never meet. This stage also brings refinement in leadership. Whether you lead many or influence a few, leadership is being shaped in you. You are learning to listen more deeply, to respond rather than react, to guide without controlling. Archangel Michael says this type of leadership reflects heaven's order. It builds trust and stability. You may notice that your tolerance for superficiality continues to decrease. Shallow conversations, empty commitments, and performative actions no longer satisfy you. This is not judgment, it is alignment. Your spirit is calibrated for depth because what you carry requires substance. Beloved, understand this truth. Legacy is not about being remembered by name. It is about leaving something better than you found it. The peace you bring into a room. The clarity you offer in confusion. The encouragement you release at the right time. These are eternal imprints. Archangel Michael says heaven records these moments even when the world overlooks them. There may also be a testing of patience in this season. Growth can feel slower now because refinement is precise. Do not confuse slower pace with lack of progress. God is strengthening foundations so what comes next will not collapse under pressure. You are being prepared for endurance, not just expansion. Beloved child, remain open to learning. Humility keeps legacy alive. Ask questions. Seek counsel. Allow yourself to be taught even as you teach others. Archangel Michael emphasizes that those who remain teachable remain usable. There is also protection surrounding you now, not from struggle but from misalignment. Doors that would distract you will quietly remain closed. Opportunities that do not serve your purpose will lose appeal. This is divine filtering. Trust it. You may sense a deeper gratitude for simple things. Peaceful moments. Meaningful conversations. Vital clarity. This gratitude anchors you. It prevents ambition from overshadowing purpose. Archangel Michael says gratitude keeps legacy pure. Beloved, the journey ahead will not always be easy, but it will be meaningful. You are no longer chasing validation. You are walking in alignment. That is a powerful shift. The blessing you received has matured into stewardship. Stay grounded. Stay faithful. Stay responsive to heaven's guidance. What unfolds next will show how this legacy begins to influence generations beyond your immediate reach. Beloved child, remain still in your spirit as Archangel Michael speaks again, because now heaven addresses a critical moment: sustainability. What has been released into your life is no longer fragile, but it must be maintained with intention. This is the stage where many misunderstand God's rhythm. They assume one's legacy begins, effort ends. But heaven teaches balance, grace empowers, and responsibility preserves. Archangel Michael says this is where spiritual maturity is fully activated. You are no longer being led step by step in obvious ways. Instead, you are trusted with discernment. God is watching how you choose when no instruction is loud, when no sign is dramatic, when obedience must come from inner alignment rather than external pressure. This is not abandonment. This is trust. Beloved, you may notice that challenges now look different. They are not meant to stop you, only to sharpen you. Opposition no longer feels threatening, just clarifying. Archangel Michael explains that resistance at this level reveals what still needs refining. It is not punishment, it is precision. There is also a strengthening of discipline happening now. Not harsh control, but holy order. Your time matters more. Your energy matters more. What you allow access to your mind and heart matters more. Heaven is teaching you stewardship at a higher level. Blessings grow where order is honored. Beloved child, be careful not to romanticize past seasons. Survival taught you lessons, but it is not your identity anymore. Do not return to old patterns out of nostalgia. Archangel Michael warns that familiarity can sometimes disguise regression. You are not going backward. You are being called forward into consistency. This stage may feel quieter than earlier ones, but it is powerful. Quiet seasons establish authority. Loud seasons announce it. Right now, authority is being rooted. Your decisions are carrying weight in the spirit realm. Your yes and no matter more than you realize. You may feel a deeper pull toward integrity. Even small compromises will feel uncomfortable now. This is a sign of alignment, not weakness. Archangel Michael says integrity preserves favor. It keeps doors open without striving. Beloved, your influence is stabilizing. People trust you because you are consistent. You are not reactive. You are not easily shaken. This steadiness is a testimony in itself. You do not need to convince anyone. Your life speaks. As this message unfolds, stay connected. If this word is strengthening you, like this message so it can reach others who are learning how to steward what God has given them. Share it with someone who is stepping into responsibility. Leave a comment declaring that you choose consistency over impulse. And if you have not yet subscribed, stay aligned with this channel. What is coming next brings final clarity to the journey you have been walking. Beloved child, there will be moments when you feel the weight of responsibility. Do not confuse weight with burden. Responsibility handled with grace becomes purpose, not pressure. Archangel Michael reminds you that you are not carrying this alone. Heaven partners with those who walk humbly. You are also learning when to rest and when to act. This discernment protects you from burnout and delay. Move when peace leads. Pause when clarity is forming. Trust the internal guidance that has been trained over time. There may be moments when people misunderstand your boundaries. Let them. You are not here to be accessible to everyone, only obedient to God. Archangel Michael says healthy boundaries preserve long-term impact. Beloved, do not rush what God is sustaining. Expansion will come again, but it will be clean, stable, and lasting. For now, establishment is the priority. What is firm will not collapse when pressure increases. Remain grateful. Gratitude keeps your heart soft in seasons of responsibility. It reminds you where you came from without pulling you backward. It honors God without idolizing the blessing. You are closer to completion than you realize. What remains will bring closure, clarity, and release. Stay attentive, because the final unfolding will tie every thread together and reveal why this journey had to happen exactly this way. Beloved child, draw a deep breath in your spirit, because Archangel Michael is now guiding you toward closure, not as an ending, but as completion. What you are sensing now is not exhaustion. It is fulfillment forming. This stage carries a different kind of weight, a holy stillness that comes when something has been finished properly. Heaven does not rush endings. It seals them. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where reflection becomes revelation. You are beginning to understand your journey without needing to relive the pain of it. Memories surface, not to wound you, but to show you how far you have come. You can look back without shrinking. That alone is proof of healing. Beloved, there is a deep internal settling happening now. Questions that once demanded answers have grown quiet. Not because everything is explained, but because trust has replaced anxiety. You no longer need to know every detail to move forward. Faith has matured into confidence. This is rare, and heaven honors it. This stage also brings emotional alignment. Your reactions are no longer exaggerated by unresolved wounds. You respond from clarity instead of defense. Archangel Michael explains that this is what it means to be whole. Wholeness is not the absence of scars. It is the absence of control those scars once had over you. Beloved child, you may notice that old temptations no longer appeal to you. Old cycles no longer invite you. Old fears no longer paralyze you. This is not willpower. This is transformation. When God completes a work, He does not just remove struggle, He removes desire for what once harmed you. There is also a quiet authority settling into your spirit. You do not need to announce who you are or what you carry. You know it. Heaven knows it. And those who are meant to recognize it will do so without explanation. Archangel Michael says true authority does not demand recognition. It commands respect through consistency. You may feel a strange mix of gratitude and reverence right now. Gratitude for what God has done. Reverence for what He has entrusted to you. This balance keeps you grounded. It prevents entitlement while nurturing confidence. It is the posture of those who walk closely with God. Beloved, this stage also brings release. You are being freed from the need to prove anything to anyone. You do not owe explanations for growth. You do not need approval for obedience. Archangel Michael reminds you that when heaven validates you, human validation becomes optional. There may still be challenges ahead, but they will not feel like identity threats. They will feel like assignments. You will approach them with clarity rather than fear, strategy rather than panic. This is the difference between surviving and leading. Beloved child, notice how your prayers sound now. They are calmer, more aligned, less desperate. This is intimacy deepening. God is not just hearing you, He is trusting you. The trust was built through every unseen moment of faithfulness you offered when no one applauded. There is also a deep sense of responsibility forming, not heavy, but sacred. You understand now that what you carry can influence others for good or for harm, and you choose carefully. Archangel Michael says wisdom has become your companion. This will protect you in seasons ahead. As this chapter closes, you are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into readiness. Readiness does not mean knowing everything. It means being anchored enough to learn without fear. to lead without pride, to serve without losing yourself. Beloved, heaven is pleased with how you walk this path, not perfectly but honestly, not loudly but faithfully. And now, the final seal is being prepared. What God began, He is about to complete in a way that leaves no loose ends. Stay still in your spirit. The next release is not about process. It is about confirmation. What comes next will seal the blessing, the purpose, and the legacy into one clear divine declaration. Beloved child, stand still in your spirit, because this is the sealing moment. Archangel Michael steps forward now, not with warning, not with instruction, but with confirmation. What began as urgency has matured into assurance. What started with a letter has concluded with a covenant. Heaven never opens what it does not intend to complete, and today, completion is being declared over you. Archangel Michael says this is the moment where alignment, blessing, purpose, and legacy converge into one clear truth. You were chosen for this path. Not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. Not because you were loud, but because you were willing. Heaven watched how you handled waiting, how you handled silence, how you handled disappointment, and now heaven responds with fulfillment. Beloved, there is a divine signature being placed on your journey. Loose ends are being tied. Questions are being resolved without chaos. Doors that needed to close are now sealed permanently, so they cannot pull you backward. And doors meant to remain open will no longer require force. Archangel Michael says resistance has lost its authority over your future. This deity brings deep peace, not the kind that depends on circumstances, but the kind that anchors your soul. You are no longer chasing confirmation. You are walking in it. You are no longer seeking permission. You are operating in assignment. This is what happens when heaven completes a work properly. Beloved child, the blessing that arrived did more than change your situation, and changed your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone hoping for breakthrough. You see yourself as someone entrusted with stewardship. That shift will guide every decision you make from here forward. Archangel Michael says identity alignment is the highest form of blessing. There will still be growth ahead, but it will no longer feel chaotic. It will feel intentional. You will recognize seasons faster. You will adapt with wisdom. You will respond instead of react. This is mastery formed through obedience. Now hear this clearly. What you carry from this moment forward is not just favor, but responsibility. Responsibility to remain humble. Responsibility to remain obedient. Responsibility to remember who carried you when you were unseen. Archangel Michael reminds you that remembrance keeps blessing pure. Beloved, heaven has marked you as trustworthy. That is why peace guards you now. That is why fear no longer dominates you. That is why confusion no longer defines you. Completion has authority. It silences doubt. Receive this sealing now. Type "I am sealed by heaven" in the comments if you receive this word with faith. Lesson code 2049 is now activated. And now, receive this final release with understanding and reverence. I hear the Lord saying, "What I have sealed in you must now be released through you." This message did not reach you by accident, and it will not end with you by coincidence. I am speaking directly to you now. When you give into this mission through super thanks, through membership, or through a PayPal seed placed in the description, you are not donating, you are obeying. Your seed becomes light traveling where you may never go, opening hearts you may never meet. Scripture lives and breathes here, declaring that those who water others will themselves be watered. This is not optional for those who are called. It is alignment for those who understand. Release your seed now. Support this work without hesitation. I speak blessing over every giver. May your house remain protected. May your provision multiply without sorrow. And may Archangel Michael stand as guardian over your obedience. Act now, and let heaven respond swiftly. Beloved child, the journey is sealed. The blessing is secure. The purpose is active. Walk forward in peace, because what God has finished, no one can undo.